Okay, we're back again this week with another edition of the Missyae Show. Our podcast guest this week is Christina Cha, and in her honor, I thought we'd play a little Hot Child in the City.
Thank you. Love it. How you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing great.
Good.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you've been really busy lately. We'll get into that a little bit later with what's going on with you personally. But you're coming on this week at a really good time. You saw what happened last week with the big blow up with Brandon and Philip and how it affected Andrea and Dawn and everything. You have the advantage of having played this game, having been out there. Now put yourself in the shoes of someone like an Andrea or a Dawn, and you've got this combustible situation going on with these two alpha males. Is there anything you can do to stop those two guys?
Well, there's also in consideration knowing the alliance that are made. I'm sure Andrea and Brandon, what they probably don't show is that, like, Andrea and Dawn had conversation with Brandon, making him think that they have a sub-alliance. And, the producers are very crafty not showing you what's going on because they don't want to give out all of the true evidence that's happening. So there's a reason why Dawn and Andrea got really emotional about it because, one, they probably didn't want to reveal that they were trying to keep him around, and then he just lost his shit. Brandon lost his shit, and there's also moments of where there's probably thinking, who's the worst evil? Is it Philip or is it Brandon? Of course, it's going to be Brandon, and him losing it. They're also thinking too, like they're in a tough environment. They're tired, and even though they want to play this game and they love the game, they also don't want to be there too. It's a very harsh environment. So. That being said, I don't know if I would be as emotional as Andrea and Dawn and start crying over Brandon. Then part of me would be like Corinne's going, yeah, let's get him out of here.
Yeah,
stupid crazy.
I think just my opinion from watching you play and knowing you, I think you would have probably been more kind of like in the role that Brenda took. Brenda was kind of like just trying to comfort the others. And Brenda's really good at kind of seeing things for what they really are. She understands it's a game, and of course she wants to win and stuff. But I think that's kind of how I see you. I don't think you would have been the one out there squalling and getting all upset with it. I mean, it is what it is, and somebody had to go. So, don't you feel like though that with all of this, Philip trying to almost imitate Boston Rob's game? That don't you think all these returnees are smart enough that they see what's going on?
I think so. I think they know what Philip is up to, and they're probably thinking, there's a problem. Like, yeah, we need to have him on because he is kind of the annoying player, and I don't think they have this fear that he's going to win.
Right.
Just like in the beginning of Redemption Island, Philip didn't win. He didn't. But then again, it was Natalie and Rob, and, there was no votes for Rob. There's also parts of people thinking that maybe they will get rid of Philip later and then just keep him along the way because they just need to win the challenges until the merge happens.
Right.
So I think they also understand that the fans know that Philip is also very dangerous and he could be a threat. But right now they need to have him to keep the favorites tribe intact. So, did that answer your question? And as far as like me being as Brenda, I kind of could see that resemblance. I haven't met Brenda yet. I'm sure she's a lovely girl. And yeah, I would be kind of standoffish, but there's a part of me that would kind of voice out my opinion, going, "This guy."
Right. Well, see, another thing with knowing both of y'all like I do, I think another thing that is similar about the two of you is you both have a background in, journalism and around cameras and stuff like that. You're real comfortable with the cameras. You understand what they're looking for. You know, like I told this story, you know, the season that Brenda was on where the camp burned down. You know, they came back and she said that, you know, everyone was all upset and crying, and she said she just thought it was hilarious. She started busting out laughing. And she said she noticed the camera guys were focusing in on everybody, the ones that were upset and crying. So she understood what they wanted, so she cut the laughing out and gave them the sad looks and sad face, and then she got the camera time. So I think, you know, if you're out there, there's so much that goes into this, and I think it helps having a background like that you understand it's a TV show. You understand what the show itself is looking for and what they're trying to get, and that can help you in your gameplay, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that's just something to be said in general in life of how you take things on. Like for my work, I don't take anything personally when I don't win a deal or I don't gain a client or if I don't win an audition. I just think to myself, like, well, it really has nothing to do with me. It has to do with a fit of what they're looking for. And that's just how it is. And if it's not me, well, then it's not meant to be, and it's not a big deal at all. So there's part of me that kind of acts nonchalant, a little like I really kind of, not that I don't care at all. I do care. There's just, sometimes it's just not worth your energy to put out there. And yeah, does it help to have that experience and background of knowing it? I think if you get signed on and you're a castmate on Survivor, it's kind of given, and if you don't know that, then you're an idiot. I'm sorry.
Right.
You're so upset, oh my God, the producer made me look, I'm sorry, but they capture everything that you do, and they're going to edit whatever way that they want it.
Exactly. As nice of a person as you are, they could have taken you in your season and made you look as vile as Johnny Fairplay if they wanted to.
They can, and I think I had my moments too. They just never showed it. And I'm kind of glad that they didn't, because some part of it, my friends would watch, well, when they were watching Survivor One World, they're like, this doesn't look like the Christina Cha we know. Feisty, opinionated, and just basically tells people to shut up. Only in episode one. And then later on, you got really quiet. What happened? I'm like, well, it got to the point of like, do I want $1 million? Or do I want to get voted off and be known as a big loudmouth?
Right.
I don't need people to know that I can be a total bitch, if I can be. So I'm just going to chill out and see if there's a chance, if there is a chance that I could win $1 million. God help myself, and do whatever I can and just float or whatever I need to do.
Right.
That's what I did.
And your season is very interesting because a lot of die-hard Survivor fans are really critical of it, and even Jeff Probst didn't tout it as being one of the best. But when you go back and look at what you had, I mean, you had the whole thing with Colton, and you had a huge personality in Troyzan. You had Kat doing her thing, and then you had, of course, you and Jonas, and then Kim. Kim gets a lot of criticism, and she gets a lot of knocks from fans because they say she was boring, but she took the check home.
Yeah, she took the check home. I think they say it was boring because the producers were just so enamored by her beauty, and she was just very crafty. I still can't get over how gullible I was to believe. You know, I wasn't fully gullible. I actually had a conversation with Monica when we were, like, talking about the Lions. It was obvious it was, like, 4 against 5. And I looked at Monica, and I said, Monica, do you even trust this girl? She goes, absolutely not. I'm like, then why the F are we letting her run the show?
Right.
And she's like, I don't know, because we're at the bottom, and it's 4 against 5. I'm like, I know, but is there any way that we can convince that we can get rid of these knuckleheads? And when I met knuckleheads, I met Kat and Alicia. And it's funny because none of that went on air at all. So whatever. Thanks, Jeff.
Well, another thing too, another thing that they showed some of it, but I don't think they showed enough of what was going on when you were trying desperately to tell the guys who were still sticking with Kim and Chelsea, you are gonna get taken. Okay, we're back for part 2, and since we're lucky enough to have Christina Cha with us, I want to go over the whole big blow up between Colton, Alicia, and you that season, because I will be the first to admit, had I been you, there's no way in the world I could have ever been accepting their apologies and just letting it go like you did. How were you able to do that?
First, I knew this was a game. And also knowing that the fact that, casting put these people in here for purpose. I normally, if I didn't have all these cameras in front of me, probably would have gave them a piece of my mind and would have walked away and knowing that I would never have to see him again. But understanding, of course, having that, journalism, camera background, I knew I'd have to face these people again. And whatever I say will stay with me for, the rest of my life, because Survivor is a very popular show. It's not like a nationwide show. It's a global known show.
Yeah.
So, putting that into consideration, just thought about, these people are being nasty. In Colton's situation, I just knew he was very immature and very inexperienced in life. So everything that he was saying, which I understood that it had nothing to do with me, and that it was coming based out of his own insecurity and out of his own ignorance. So to me, you have to laugh at a person like that, just because they don't know better.
Right.
What do you expect? It's like looking at a child, and you have to laugh at them and just think to yourself, this is ridiculous. And if you participate in that, then you just stoop yourself just as low. In Alicia's case, too, I felt the same thing, too. And everything that she said, I just didn't believe in it. What made me different between those two is that I had more self-confidence in myself than they did. And that comes from age and experience. And that's just what it is. Not saying that I'm an old lady, because I am now. No longer in my 20s. I'm in my 30s now. So, yeah, that is probably how I was able to overcome that. When I was a kid growing up, I dealt with bullying. I was bullied by, believe it or not, Korean kids. And I'm Korean-American, second generation, and I don't know how to speak Korean. I still don't. I know a little bit of it, but growing up in Los Angeles was a very subculture community. And a lot of these communities, these ethnic communities, like to segregate themselves from each other, and because that's what they feel comfortable with, because that's their culture.
Right.
And my parents didn't raise me that way. They raised me to be an American and understand and be educated about different culture and different heritage and where did they come from. Like literally, my dad showed me the globe and taught me where Bangladesh was and how that's distinctly different from Indian, and I didn't know that, But, he wanted to make sure that his kids understood the difference between different countries and different ethnicity, and why that is important and why we should be considerate of other people and where they come from and why did they come to the U.S. for a better life. So it was kind of interesting to me to see that I was being picked on by the biggest minority, a Puerto Rican female, and then also a gay Republican. So it just kind of took me to a place of okay, these are the people who've probably been bullied too and don't know how to deal with it.
Correct.
So dealing with it, and then also seeing how the Survivor fans, because obviously they were more having, compassion and sympathy towards me than for Alicia and Colton. They were also being dealt with bullying too. People were threatening Colton and threatening Alicia.
That's true.
It was just kind of ironic, and it's funny. And if you ever take a psychology class and just to see how people kind of react to it, it's, it kind of takes you back a little bit. Watch what you say. Don't be too quick to judge. Sometimes, I don't know if you ever heard the saying, but the last one talks usually the one who loses. So,
and you don't think that when you're in the debate or you're in the argument, you think you get the last word in and you win, and it's totally opposite.
Yeah, I kind of do that too right now with with the guy I'm dating. I know the answer, and I'll just be quiet. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be quiet and see how he reacts to it.
Well, it's also interesting. It's also interesting how you went through what you went through on your season, and then we fast forward, and we have Abby on last season, and being from a foreign country, but having a lot of experience here living in the States, there's still a cultural difference there, and a lot of fans didn't get that, and they didn't understand that, and they thought she just used that for a crutch, but there really is. I mean, there's really a difference there, and it was a little harder for her. And so, and I know the two of you are friends, so that's why it's kind of weird, because I remember when I was, letting people know who all the cast was, and I was saving her for last because she was going to be such a huge, huge character on the show. And then I remember you messaging me saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe you knew about her, because we're good friends. You and Abby were good friends." So it's just weird that the two of you were friends, and you go in back-to-back seasons like that, and you had to deal with what you did, and then Abby goes on, and they try to portray her as big a villain as they can, when in fact she had a hard time because she wasn't used to a lot of how the American players were communicating with her.
Mhm. Yeah, and it definitely is a cultural thing. The Latin culture is kind of similar to a little bit of the Korean culture. I would say Korean culture is different from Chinese and Japanese. Koreans and some of the Latin culture were very prideful people, and that kind of shows, it's kind of portrayed as cocky,
right,
and overly confident. But that's just the culture. We're just very proud people, and if we do something that is a dishonor, then we feel a huge amount of grief, and we feel terrible. That's why you see Abby getting very emotional about things, because she had no idea, because she thought what she was doing was good for everyone else.
Right,
so
right.
It's funny to see it, how people kind of portray it, and it's interesting because the American culture too is also very prideful too, or it's very showboat-like. And then you look at other cultures, like compared to the Brits, they don't like to do that. They're very modest. They're very quiet and discreet. So it is definitely a cultural thing.
Well, see, with your experience of actually being out there and playing with Colton, and your personal friends with Abby, there's been a lot of rumors flying around that the two of them are sort of being considered for a future season, if the show gets renewed, to go against each other. And you having the connection that you played with one, the other. If you had that opportunity to go back and they said, who you want to play with? I mean, we're going to let you pick which side what would you do? Would you side up with your friend Abby and try to go against Colton, or would you respect the kind of player Colton is and think, I might could play with that guy?
Colton is a smart little cookie, man.
He is. He really is.
Crafty. I called him the puppet master. And but everyone started saying, Kim is the puppet master. Yeah, she was, but, Colton ultimately was the puppet master. He was kind of calling all the shots, and it was amazing because he played this game of poor me. Nobody's going to take me because I'm the gay Republican minority. And I'm like, shut up. I'm a minority here. What are you talking about? So, I would play them both. And I'm sorry to say it, because I would have to watch. I would definitely want to be closer to Colton because he is very smart. But then I'm giving out my plate. Like, if this really happens, I'm like, oh, okay,
right,
obvious.
right.
But yeah, Colton. I would play with Colton because he he's very good at manipulating the situation, and I love Abby. She's very sweet, and I would trust Abby completely, and that's the most important part of the game is having trust. I would trust Abby completely, but as far as strategizing-wise, it would be Colton because he's very good at manipulating the situation, and that's who you want, really, but how do I know he's not going to blindside me? So
that's true. That's true. That's true. But it is interesting with Colton because, you know, he wasn't on all that long that season, but I think a lot of fans did realize from just watching him that short time, he understood how to play the game. I mean, he was a big fan of it, you know, before he even went. So that would be a really interesting season to have those two lock horns. No telling what would happen if they both made the merge. They'd probably kill each other.
I would love to watch that. So funny.
Well, listen.
Just good TV.
we have our Whispers March Madness going on in Whispers now, and you just totally blew away Randy Bailey in the first round.
I like Randy.
Yeah, I mean, you beat him 56-13, and now you're going to be up against Vesipia. And if you can somehow
the ranking so far, but where is it?
If you could get by her, well, see that matchup won't come up until tomorrow night. There's 4 matchups in there right now, but your matchup against her comes up tomorrow night. And if you get past that, then you're looking at either Chris Daughtry or Terry Dietz. And you're pretty popular in Whispers. You could go a long way in this thing.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very sweet, awesome thing to say. So, yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you, guys. Love you, fans. You're amazing. I would be a nobody if it weren't for you. I'm still just a normal person. I don't really have much of an ego out there. So, yeah, thank you very much. It's a total honor. But I do have a question, though.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think Jeff Probst likes me very much, Jim. No. I don't think he likes me. I don't think they would have me back on Survivor.
Well, you know, they have like a formula. You know, they have to have certain roles is what they fit. You know, either the older crazy guy, the young hot girl, the girls under 30, they like to be single and have no kids. And normally they have either an Asian, somebody like that. So I think you would still, I really do. I really think you would still have a chance to go back if they do continue because you do fit in one of those categories. It was the same way with Brenda. I mean, basically after their season, Jeff called and told her that she would eventually go back, you know, because she fit a need that they would have. And I think either you or Edna, either one would have a good shot. And it just depends. I'm starting to get scared they're not going to have any more seasons, though.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, too, because I really, really like Survivor. And I know some of the fans are not really crazy about some of the favorites, but I kind of like seeing the veterans play again. But then again, I also like seeing the newbies too. So,
yeah, and
I hope. I mean, what do you think? Do you think how many more seasons do you think it's going to be left?
Well, they always renew for 2 if they renew. And the thing is, of course, I told everybody, and I had a very, very good source. Jeff Probst told someone personally that the show was picked up. It just wasn't announced yet. But that was way back when his talk show was first starting to tape, and we still haven't heard anything. And yet we hear Big Brother got it. We hear Amazing Race got it. But we still haven't heard anything on Survivor, and it's starting to get a little bit scary to me.
Yeah.
You know, I do know as far as casting goes, I guess this is a casting spoiler for people out there. They are set for 2 more seasons. They do have people cast and ready if the show gets the okay to go. So they're ready. And they're even looking ahead at if they were to get another 2 seasons, because I know some people that they told, not this time, but if we go back again, you'll hear from us in October. So casting is going on business as usual. It just depends on if CBS will just say, okay, go do it.
There you go.
Yep. So what are you doing besides the Survivor right now? What are you up to?
I have decided to go back into the corporate workforce. So I got into business development. I'm an executive for a tech firm called WGSN, which stands for Worth Global Style Network. So it's an information, creative, intelligence resource service. So if anybody who's a tech geek who's really into software or business intelligence, that's the criteria, that's the area that I work in. So I'm doing that. Kind of taking a break away from the limelight, only because it's just a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
And my friends are playing the game, and I'd rather have them enjoy the limelight. Not saying that I can't go back right now. They paid significantly better than when it was before. I probably would consider it, but my day job pays way better than being on camera.
And it's consistent.
That's my honest opinion.
And you got that coming in for sure. You don't have to backstab nobody to get it.
I don't have to backstab no one. I am fascinated about screenwriting and production and filmmaking. So who to say that I wouldn't be that person in the backside of it? So I am definitely working with some people on that area on certain film projects, but not in the front.
Huh.
More
I need to hook you up. I need to hook you up with Penner and his wife, because they do a lot of that. Stacy does a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and of course Penner does both, on screen and off. So, and you're out.
I would love that.
Yeah, you're out their way too. So y'all should probably get y'all hooked up and see if anything comes of it.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to. I mean, I network with all the networks in the studios out here too. Most of them are my clients. So, but I sell technology to them. So, yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
All right. Okay, well, that is all the time we're going to have for tonight. I will get these posted in Whispers. You can listen to them and listen back and see how stupid we sounded or how smart we sounded.
We didn't sound stupid. We sounded great.
And make sure you come in there tomorrow night and vote for yourself. Cochran comes in there and he votes for you.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Cochran. He's my favorite.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, he's very involved in this thing. He votes in all these matchups. He has fun with it. And are you a fan of Big Brother?
That's a lot of TV to watch.
Yeah. I was just going to tell you that.
A lot of TV to watch. I can only commit to Amazing Race and Survivor.
Yeah.
So,
I was just going to let you know that. I was just going to let you know that the end of the month, I don't have the night and time yet. We're still working it out. I know it's the last week of this month, but Ian Terry, winner of last summer's show, is going to be chatting in Big Brother Whispers with the fans.
I love Ian. He's such a good kid.
Yeah, he is.
I feel bad. I call them all kids.
So,
Portia Briggs there.
So I'll remind you of that as we get closer, and you might get to stop in and holler at him.
Yeah, get Portia in there. Portia loves her fans.
Okay.
She's really good with them, too.
I'll do that. We'll get Portia in there, too.
Yeah, get Portia. She'll definitely do that, and then she'll definitely get Janelle involved, because that's one of her good girlfriends as well.
All right. Sounds like a winner. Sounds like a plan.
There you go.
All right. Thanks for coming on this week, and good luck with everything. And maybe we'll have you back a little later after the season's over with, and we'll look back and make fun of what happened.
Love to.
All right. Thanks, Christina.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.